Hello, everyone. Welcome to our weekly podcast on real estate investing. My name is Seewing Yi, and my weekly co-host is Julie. The first module we can discuss is something that will be the up and coming wave of the future. We're talking medium-term investment model. It's going to explode. It has already exploding. Get in the front of this explosion, get in early, do the right system, process, and procedures, and then your financial freedom will be a lot different than it is right now. Let's go ahead, discuss this medium term, mid-term investment model. Some of the slides I'm going to go real quickly, or we're going to get to the meat of our presentation, a number of slides into this. And of course, they can always come back to this video and pause at a certain slide so they can digest a certain slide. With that in mind, medium-term rental is more than 30 days rental, less than 365 days, typically 30 to 90 days plus. And the number of prospective tenants pool is getting larger and larger. Most people think of medium-term rental as you rent to traveling nurses. No, traveling nurses is just one small graphic of potential tenants for your medium-term rental investment property. Yeah. There are many others. So if you focus too much on traveling nurses, you are doing yourself a disservice. You're not going to have success. But that's a buzzword. But you need to expand your rental pool with above and beyond traveling nurses, such as you need to go into healthcare, recruiting agencies, other medical professionals, construction contract workers, retirees, digital nomads, remote workers, college students, you rent by the room, very possible. Corporate rentals, military families, relocating from one duty station to another, and people moving into an area they're not ready to buy yet, so they want to rent for 3, 4, 5 months. And so while they're searching for a new house, they want furnished rentals, and they're willing to pay a premium above and beyond what you normally collect on a long-term rental situation. Also, this is a niche market. Not many people are willing to do this, but investors are able to find people who are displaced from their homes due to flood, fire, and they work to contact the insurance company. This is a very high rental property situation, but it's not easy to get into. And people also doing large home renovations, like putting it on a second floor, or they need to vacate their home, so they need to relocate for a few months and rent a furnished rental for a few months. But the possibilities are endless. All right. And we are talking, look, there are many all over the US people doing mid-term rentals slowly, gradually. But in my opinion, Julie, you and I discussed that a number of times recently. The market I'm going to focus on is South Texas, and the best type of medium-term rental, in our opinion, because we have a lot of experience doing this already, buy the best small multi-unit in the country to do not only the mid-term rental, but medium-term rental space. You could do a hybrid model, right? And you can meet the 1% rule, rent to value ratio, which is very difficult these days.
Right.
Mainly the 1% rule, you get it in the Midwest somewhere. You buy very inexpensive properties in the Midwest, and the rent covers that. But if you buy higher priced properties in other part of the country, like Texas and Florida, it's very difficult to get the 1% rule. And of course, capitalization rate is 8%. Now, some of you do not understand what these formulas are all about. I get it. We have other videos. We can discuss this type of numerical formulas in detail. And we're focusing on, for this particular presentation, on the best medium-term rental or fourplex and even sixplexes, rare new constructions. And above all, this kind of neighborhood, you're getting like A class, a top A class location, A class or A minus class tenants for your long-term rental and medium-term rental tenant pool, if you will. And finally, why not buy this type of small multi-units? You can do long-term rental and mid-term rental in one of the fastest growing metro in Texas, not only in Texas, but in the US. Julie, you and I discussed this particular market a number of recently. What are your quick comment on what I just said?
I think it's almost a step above the normal investment because you're looking at new builds in Texas, fourplexes, even sixplexes, and very reasonably priced. Even though you're not going to necessarily, you may not get that 1% rule, but you're also going to get the benefit of the appreciation just because so many people are moving there. And then you're going to get a quality tenant too, which is really most important because you always want to get somebody that's taking good care of your place.
Absolutely. Now, best metrics to make it a successful medium to rental is ideally you buy a property that are close to medical clinics and hospitals. And in this
Right.
market in South Texas, you're getting that.
Hmm. Hmm.
They're building all kind of, because of this fast growing emerging market in this region of Texas, they're building a lot of hospitals, a lot of children's hospitals,
Hmm.
emergency room hospitals, whole lot of world-class medical centers located in this region, which is very enticing, very, and of course, and not, when you're dealing with the medical industry, you have different type of medical specialties. You have so many sub medical specialties in this kind of
Right.
hospital. You will have nurses and doctors or interns training at a local medical college, University of
Mhm.
Texas at Rio Grande Valley, a major university still located close by, right? And they are
Mhm.
producing young doctors, young interns, and young nurses locally. And the rental pool is amazing in this market as we speak, right?
That was
Doctors, you're getting lab technicians,
mhm.
all kinds of medical specialists over here, which is, and then if your properties are that you're going to buy are located close to top rated universities and colleges, you have some amazing rental pool of college professors and instructors, college support staff in the local area, and college students as well, who have the
Mhm.
ability to rent your property long-term rent and medium-term, short-term rent as well,
Mhm.
30 to 60 to 90 to 120 days, right?
Yeah, I was actually thinking when you were talking earlier about renting out by the room. That's a great strategy for if you're near a college campus because you've got a steady stream of students coming through every 10 months. They give you a couple months to clean it out and get it ready for the next group of students that are coming in. But that's consistent and their parents will pay because they need them to stay. So that's a great, I don't think most people look at that as a strategy, but that can be a very successful strategy.
Yeah, we could talk about this a few minutes down the road. You can rent, you can do a medium-term rental on this fourplex. You can rent one of the unit. One unit is like three-bedroom, two bath, like a
Mhm.
1,100 square foot. So you rent to three college students sharing
Mhm.
their room. If you charge, let's say $900 per college student, or 800 to 900,
Mhm.
$900 per unit out of the four unit. Just do the math. Three
Mhm.
times eight is 2,400. Three times
Mhm.
900 is 2,800.
Right.
So renting to a medium term college students in local area, you're producing 26 to $2,800 one
Right.
rent. I mean,
Right.
that's sort of one of the four unit, which is mind boggling.
It really is. Yeah. A great strategy.
Yeah. So that's just one tool. Of course, medical technology is growing the fastest growing industry in a country because the people are getting older, and this location, this region, having all these type of medical tech roles, data centers, fulfillment, medical offices, life sciences, and they will produce a lot of great tenants, long-term and medium-term tenants. These four tech communities, as we discussed here, they do not allow short-term rental. That's how it is, at least on this fourplex. But this area do allow short-term rentals, but you have to buy a property that are not a fourplex or duplex.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Then you may convert to short-term rental in this particular region. But the builder and the fourplex that we have discussed, they do not allow anything longer than 30 days. Yes, they do
Mm.
allow, but anything shorter. So
Right.
we're talking, they are catching up to the rest of Texas, all the main metros that we have been hearing about: Houston, Dallas, and Austin, and San Antonio. But this South region, Hidalgo County, by the Mexican border, South Texas, is catching up to the big four of the
Right.
metropolis of the rest of Texas. And as you can see, the amazing vertical growth in this South Texas. So a lot of jobs, a lot of population growth, job growth, new companies are moving in, industrial manufacturing, medical industry, high tech, aerospace.
Mhm.
Elon Musk have a launching pad located very close.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, they bring in a lot of hundreds of jobs for Elon Musk, SpaceX. They have a presence in the South Texas Gulf.
Wow.
So very, very exciting to them. McAllen Amber Mission. This is a sub markets within this county, Hidalgo County. So it's up and coming. So get in early. It's an emerging market. So look, a lot of you can easily do a long-term rental. Okay, if you're buying out of
Right.
state, you do a long-term rental, which is fine because it's almost like a passive because you get into turnkey property, the property management on the local level, they do everything for you. You can easily do long-term rental, which is fine, and you can scale accordingly. Very little work on Julie, you and I,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Very little work and tremendous amount of return. Or even on this long-term model on this fourplex, brand new, excellent growing market with the gross rent on all four doors, minus 25% down payment, even if you pay 7% mortgage rate. If you pay 7% mortgage rate, and you still cash flow, monthly net cash flow is almost $800. Again,
Nice.
you and I, Julie, have discussed this before. This market are meeting the 1% rule. 1%.
That's very good.
Yeah, 1% means
Excellent.
yeah, the purchase price multiplied by 1% equal the rent. This is a tremendous ideal benchmark, but very hard to get cash flow at 1% anymore these days,
Right.
especially in South and Southeast. In the Midwest, like in Buffalo and Idaho Falls, like that you have
Right.
portfolio, yes, it's easier, much easier to get 1% or somewhere in the Midwest, you can do that. But on the new construction, fast growing market for this price point, extremely rare to get 1%. I have not seen anything like it. So not only that, again, numerical formulas, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. We have done many other educational videos about, we take a deep dive on the numerical formulas such as capitalization rate, cash on return, total return investments.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead. If you want to do 4-unit all long-term tenants, unfurnished, you will do well long-term.
That's a great cash flow on that. You don't have to do anything. Their property manager will take care of the tenant. That's a very good deal. And that's something you can hold on to for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. This is just a first year projection and people understand it's a long-term. So this rent gonna consistently increase based on inflation, 3 to 5% or more, depending on the situation. So your rent will go up. The tenant gonna pay down your loan. You could get steady appreciation, 3 to 5% or more.
Right.
Amazing tax benefit, which we talk about on this presentation. We can emphasize the value of the tax benefit, which is amazing. Above and beyond this return, look at the value, okay? If you break down this quad, right, this 4-unit new construction, at let's say 525K, if you divide it by 4 door, each unit, each door, if you will, with 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and some 2-bedroom, 2-bath units around 10 or 1,050 square foot each door. But if each door, each unit, you are paying $136,250. Where else in a fast growing market you buy a unit, or you can buy a house for that matter at $136,000 and rent for $1,360?
That's amazing. That's really amazing.
And the cap rate is 7.6%. The benchmark for cap rate, Julie, is around 5%. You're getting 2.6% higher the normal benchmark for cash flow based on the capitalization.
Excellent. That's a great deal.
Oh, amazing.
Really deal. And I know you probably talk about it, but even to do it on, like you said, with the long term, it's a great deal. Now, if you're looking at midterm or short term, that's going to just scale up what you're bringing in.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Julie. In fact, we can go over that, right? Yeah. Okay. So we, of course, we have 6 units as well. Some of our investors all buying this 6-unit new construction. The numbers still very attractive. I'm not going to go over this, but they require more down payment, of course, $161,000 down payment. But the numbers are really great. Yeah, some of our units, some of our experienced investors have already purchased 6-unit using a commercial loan, 30% down payment.
That's actually not bad because it's not really not much more you're not paying much more on a down payment than you were on the fourplex, but you're getting 2 extra units.
You get $100,000 per unit. What a value, right? $100,000 per unit, and
Yeah,
you're renting for almost $1,000 per door.
that is mind-boggling. Yeah, that's a great deal.
And again, new construction, which is very rare. Most
Right.
when you buy price point in this kind of ranges, you buy an old property, 56,
Mhm.
70 years old.
Right.
I'm not saying buying an old property is not good. I'm not saying that, but having the ability to buy a new construction in a very good location, very good neighborhood,
Right.
very
Right.
excellent tenant with such a low entry level price point as an investor, and the numbers make sense. That is a no brainer, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you have builders of building this nice home. Look at the interior.
Nice property. Mhm.
Yeah, high quality constructions on each unit. You got the fan, you got the stainless steel countertop, nice flooring, nice window, and modern technology. The
Mhm.
ceiling, the washer and dryer, and everything's in
Nice.
the nice bathroom. Now, and then the bonus, the per hour focus of our presentation, we're talking, we have the ability to convert one of the unit or more into a medium term rental above and beyond the long
Right.
rental scenario.
I'm glad you mentioned that too, that you don't have to convert all 6 or all 4. You can keep 3 of them long term and then just do 1 if you wanted to. They said tip your foot in the water just to test it out, and if it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, you can always go back to renting it long term.
Julie, what you just said, it just makes so much sense. You have so much flexibility when you buy a multi unit. 2 to 4 units, ideally, because you qualify for the residential investing Fannie Mae lending guideline. 2 to 4 units is still equals one loan
Right.
for the 10 max limit mortgage as afforded to you by the very attractive mortgage rate, the Fannie Mae lending guideline.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's right. And yeah, you have the flexibility. If you try this model midterm rental, if you for whatever reason you don't like it, you can always go back to long term rental, right?
Exactly.
It's
Mhm.
it's a very low risk. So give it a try. To
Mhm.
out of the 4 unit, 3 of the unit rented long term, fine, rented for $1,300 per unit per door,
Right.
and the 1 unit, give it a try, right?
Yeah.
Take some risk and pursue the midterm rental. If it works well,
Mhm.
eventually on the other 3 unit or whatever, when the long term tenant move out on the other unit, you could fully furnish the other units and convert it into medium term rental and collect a lot more cash flow rent, right?
Mhm. Absolutely. I know as you said, the possibilities are endless, and there really is.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
call it real estate, but real estate rental property is already a multi-dimensional asset class.
Yes.
The way it is anyway, right? You're getting cash flow, you're getting a loan amortization paid down by the tenant, you get appreciation, you get tax benefit, or the whole 9 yards. And then when you buy a multi-unit, 2 to 4 unit, 2 to 6 unit, in this case, you are creating even more multi-dimensional
Right.
opportunities, right?
Absolutely.
We're
Mhm.
talking we're talking multi investment asset class. All right, okay. And this now, I'm painting a best case scenario. I know it's not that easy to convert to make it
Right.
to, but
Mhm.
assuming going back to this fourplex, assuming you will have a very successful medium term rental. Medium term rental, you rent mid to long term rental unfurnished. Traditionally, in this particular fourplex, you're getting $1,300 rent, right? $1,300 rent. And typically, in order to make the medium term rental model work, you need to have at least 50% higher rent associated with a medium term rental than a long term rental similar model, right?
Mhm. Yes.
So giving that on this 4 unit property, if you can rent it out all 4 units at medium term rental at a minimum of $2,000
Mhm.
monthly rent on a medium term rental.
It's a big difference.
Yeah, from 1,300 long term rental rates per unit to at least 2,000 mid term rental rate, we're talking at least 50% more cash
Right.
flow.
Yeah, it bumps the cash flow up incredibly.
Giving the best case scenario, if you were to successfully do all 4 units as an all mid term rental, you rent to like whatever, $2,000 per gross rent per door, multiplied by 4 door equals a little bit more than $8,000 gross rent. And you minus all the debt service, your monthly mortgage, taxes, insurance, property management fees, vacancy factors, maintenance factors, whatever. And you're getting a monthly net cash flow of around $2,500.
That's amazing.
So you're converting a long-term rental situation, all 4 units, from around $770 on the previous example,
Right.
into 2480. We're talking like it's more than 3x higher in gross rents
Right.
with medium term rental. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, with this pro forma, this software calculates based on the midterm rental cash flow scenario.
Goodness.
The revised rent to value ratio is 1.5%. The revised capitalization rate, double digit at 11.4%. You know how rare it is to get a capitalization rate and a double digit rate?
That's incredible.
And look at this, the cash on cash return is almost 20%.
More than doubled from the original analysis that you showed.
Exactly. Yeah, the cash on cash return is based on your annual net cash flow, in this case, 30 grand, divided by the down payment, 157,000 equals 20% cash return. If this scenario plays on into like 5 years now, the next 5 years, your net cash flow will be equal to your cost of investment.
Right. There you go. That's amazing.
Let's just digest what I
You're going to get that in the bank.
in a bank or mutual funds or any other type of asset class out there. You're not going to get anything like that because you're getting the leverage through a financing using investment. And I even factor in the vacancy rate of 7%. I factor in maintenance of 5% or more. So this is potentially a realistic numbers crunching. Does it make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Again, some of our investors have already converted some of the units into midterm rental, and they're doing an Airbnb. Right here. Here's an actual case on one of the investors. He's doing an Airbnb for medium-term rental. People think Airbnb is only for short-term rental. No.
Right.
Do you know the company Airbnb? They are slowly or venturing into the medium-term rental space.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yes. Do some research because the reasons are obvious. Medium-term rental is an up-and-coming investment asset class. That's number one. I mean, it's a way for the future. But there are many areas in the country. There are what we call like quote unquote Airbnb bust, right? I know it's somewhat of an exaggeration. They are not going to crash. People think Airbnb market will crash. No, Airbnb market is not going to crash because there are 5,000 locations in all the U.S. where people are doing Airbnb. Or you can tell me every single market with Airbnb going to crash? No, that's only for the housing crash bros. That's that crash porn YouTube influencers. They want to get views. They want to get subscribers. They are using some scenario where Airbnb bust. Watch my video. Subscribe to my video. Airbnb is crash. No. Take it easy. It's not doom and gloom, okay? The sky is not falling. It's not crashing. But having said that, you and I agree, like short-term rental space, there's a lot of restrictions, a lot of cities and a lot of localities, they are not allowing short-term rentals anymore for obvious reasons. Short-term rental is having a lot more restrictions, local laws. They are not allowing that in many areas in the US. And that's why Airbnb, the company, they're very smart. They need to upgrade their philosophy, and they are allowing landlords and owners to do Airbnb marketing for medium-term rentals.
Good. Yeah, that's amazing.
But the main marketing, I know, Julie, the main marketing strategy for medium-term rental, 30, 60, 90, 120-day stay, or furnish finder, right? You and I discussed this many times. And
Excuse me.
again, one of our investors are using the furnish finder. As you can see, this fourplex is something we've been promoting. This
Nice.
that he's promoting this one unit, but he's asking for a little bit more than what I think.
Okay.
I'm thinking 2,000 per unit
Right.
for midterm rental, but he want to be ambitious. He want to test the market. He's doing
Okay.
2,500 marketing on one of the unit.
That's really amazing.
See, one unit, 3 bedroom, 2 bath,
Yeah.
57 square foot, fully furnished. By the way, on the cost of fully furnishing out of pocket for midterm rental, additional cost, I get it. You will recoup the money
Right.
if the model works. But the per square footage, then $100.
Good to know. Mhm.
If you have a 1,000 square foot unit times 100, I believe, then you have to come up with 10 grand.
10,000.
If you have a 2,000 square foot unit for medium term rental, 2,000 times $100, you can spend around $20,000 to fully furnish your unit.
Living space stuff.
And then a big screen TV with Netflix and Hulu and all the channels and some additional things, right? That's how it is. That's the
Right.
cost of doing business.
Mhm.
Now, the beauty of this presentation, which is what is surprising up until now, you don't have no clue. My focus of this particular presentation, above and beyond all the great benefit, is these 4 units is ideal to do cost segregation. It's ideal to do bonus depreciation, right? So I know you and I, we're not tax advisor,
Right.
consult your own tax advisor. But this is just an educational content. So this is my disclaimer. Julie, so you and I
Right.
are somewhat well versed in attack strategies of those investors. We have a prior background.
Right. Right.
So we know more about it than most other so-called real estate gurus out there.
Exactly.
We have no clue what we are talking about, but this is Julia. We discussed from the beginning of this presentation that there are 5 ways to make money in rental real estate and tax benefit is one of them. So here it is. Okay. Now,
Right.
this kind of strategies may or may not work to a particular investor. Again, everybody's situation is different. Once again, consult with a financial advisor to make sure whether this type of strategies make sense or you
Right.
quantify, right? But having said that, let me educate everyone. So what depreciation is a paper write-off. IRS want you to be rich. When you buy income property, the government want you to become a real estate investor. They want you to keep property. So everybody win-win. So you get some tax paper. This is a paper
Right.
write-off. Okay. So let's go use the example for $545,000 on this fourplex. 545 minus 20%. Land is not depreciable, so you have to deduct the portion of the land. So the depreciable basis, if you will, to calculate depreciation and cost segregation. By the way, cost segregation based on the current tax law, you could only deduct for 2024 60% depreciation, and then the 2025 next year was 40%. Then 2026 at 20% deduction, and 2027, 2028 0. But the law is before Congress, where they're going to restore the 100% deduction for bonus depreciation and cost segregation. So who knows? In the next few months, once the final bill from Congress will validate, they're going to restore the 100% depreciation. So if you bought your property so far in 2024, or even if you bought a property in 2023, you can go back and apply the 100% depreciation on the bonus and cost segregation. Does that make sense?
Oh, very good. Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense.
So we have to wait for a few months, hopefully, when the Congress actually pass the law that can restore the 100% depreciation instead of the current 60% depreciation write-off for this year. That remains to be seen. You can always go consult your tax advisors.
I was going to say tax advisor.
Yeah.
I don't have one in this business.
If the law passes in the next few months, you can amend your federal tax return.
That's good to know.
Yeah, to recoup the paper loss from observation from the previous purchased properties in prior years. But if you were to buy investment property this year and
Right.
anytime this year for the rest of this year, and the law will store the 100% deduction
Mhm.
for segregation, then you can get the
Mhm.
full benefit of the depreciation. So
Right.
let's continue. So the regular depreciation, a lot of people, a lot of investors, especially newbies and even so-called experienced investors, they think they can only depreciate their property long-term on a residential investing 1 to 4 unit. You depreciate over 27 and a half years. So on a regular traditional depreciation, 436,000 divided by 27.5 depreciation method, your annual depreciation you can write off against your passive income is a little bit more, almost $16,000. So
Yeah, very good. Yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
follow me. Now, for those of you who do not know what cost segregation been around for a very long time. Years ago, it applies mainly for commercial properties. But
Mm.
in recent years, the cost segregation can apply to single family home, duplex, for triplex and fourplex for
Mhm.
real estate investors. Does that make sense?
Yes, I see what you're saying. Mhm.
Conjugation accelerate the depreciation instead of for the whole structure to get the straight line depreciation over 27 and a half years. You could do an engineering study, cost segregation study. We could break down how the asset class depreciation. You could do an accelerated depreciation from 27 and a half years on a 1 to 4 unit, or 39 years from 5 units to 12. It accelerates some of the items inside the structure to 5, 7, and 15 year. Does it make sense?
I see what you're saying.
I'm not going to talk about the breakdown, but the people watching this video, when you review the video, you could pause on this slideshow. It show you the detailed breakdown of what qualify over for 27 and a half years, what qualify for 15 years, 5 to 7 years. As you can see, anything that are permanently attached to the building, you can only do 27 and a half years straight line depreciation.
Mhm.
Anything they can take it apart from the structure,
Okay.
depending on what item, you can accelerate depreciation 15, 7 to 5 years on a bonus depreciation cost segregation strategy. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That does make sense.
Yeah. So I'm not going to go over the details of it. So at the end of the day, if you look at this calculation that I made, we pay a consulting firm whatever money, I don't know how much,
Mhm.
pay $500 or $1,000 typically,
Mhm.
depending on the, the amount of your property, how much was the cost. But the fee they charge for uh, cost segregation are pretty reasonable these days compared to years ago. But now, because a lot of cost segregation engineering companies, they can do it remote engineering study. They can scale. They're very efficient with good
Mhm.
technology. As a result, they have decreased their cost of paying these firms. They may not be CPAs. A lot of these cost segregation companies, they don't have to be a tax as a licensed tech advisor. That's an expertise. It's a niche expertise where many companies they do engineering studies. But anyway, regardless, the cost is not as prohibitive as before. So
Mhm.
if you buy an investment property for like $50,000 to $100,000, I would not suggest to do a segregation study because
Right.
tax benefit may not exceed the cost of paying
I see what you're saying.
people to do this, right?
Mhm. Good point. Yeah.
Yes. So that's why I'm using this benchmark of a fourplex 545K is ideal starting point
Mhm.
potentially to do cost segregation study and get the tax benefit. Does it make sense?
Right. Okay. Yeah, I get that.
I'm not going to go over it. My breakdown, again, this is not just my calculation, but the total current year depreciation you can get from this calculation is almost 30 grand, right?
Mhm.
Julie, you and I know about taxes, but this
Right.
30 grand, if you multiply someone's federal tax bracket to 20%, am I right?
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
When a taxpayer makes $300,000 to $400,000 salary, W-2 salary, I
Mhm.
would say their tax bracket could be the federal marginal tax bracket could be 25%, maybe 30%. When somebody making 500 to $1 million of annual W-2 salary, federal tax bracket is probably anywhere from 35 to 49%. For somebody who live in a high tax state like California, your maximum state tax is another, what, 9.3%. On top of the 39% of the highest wage earners out there, you could be paying almost half of your hard-earned money in taxes.
Oh my goodness.
Unless you create a plan to do real estate. You buy
Right. Yes.
estate, if you qualify to do cost segregation, if you qualify to do even real estate professional status, tax status, which we're not going to talk about.
Right.
We can talk about on another module next week. Julie, you and I did.
Yeah, I believe we have talked about that.
We can do a deeper dive on a future tax video, talk about the real estate professional status, which is mind-boggling. You could potentially save $5,000 to $10,000 tax refund by using a qualification if you qualify. Schedule E, supplemental income schedule. Everybody who own a rental property, pretty much, for the most part, there are some exceptions. You have to file this rental tax return, whether you own it in an LLC. A lot of people are mistaken, because when you have an LLC, limited liability company, it's a flow-through entity. You still may need to file rental tax schedule, even though your property is inside an LLC.
Yeah, from what I hear, I don't have an LLC, but that's what I understand.
Anyway, with or without an LLC, the mere fact that as an investor you own income property, you likely can file Schedule E. Anyway, simple. Schedule E is where your gross rent for the year minus all your debt service, mortgage, tax, insurance, property management fees, maintenance, what have you. So traditional write-off over 27 and a half years on this full tax is like $12,000. Not bad. Nothing wrong with that. You do the cost segregation study, like I said, right? And you get a lot more tax write-offs, 25. And this $25,000 are reduced by the $64,000 income. So your taxable portion is only like $40,000, right, of income that are taxable at your ordinary tax bracket. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. You can see the difference in the numbers by doing it with cost segregation.
Right. She's a cost segregation breakdown with the tax benefit.
Double,
27 and a half year write-off. $28,000, like I said, we just talked about this. You can save additional $7,000 approximately back in your pocket. This $7,000, you can put the down payment, a good percentage of your down payment for your next rental property. You need $15,000, $20,000 to buy a property. Anyway, what you're getting is you're getting history's most powerful and proven multi-dimensional.
Absolutely.
As a class, you can pay. You don't just focus on cash flow, right? Cash flow is just one component of your income. Like 20% of your return is cash flow. So people think, oh, I must get this cash flow, otherwise I'm not going to buy a property. I must get 15% cash and cash return, otherwise I will use my money to buy a money market or a CD. Right?
Not even apples to oranges. It's not even in the same fruit category.
You're getting all these benefits from income property, leverage, loan pay down, no amortization,
right?
1031 tax deferred exchange, rental income, increasing rent year over year, appreciation potential, the whole night.
It's so interesting because I think when my husband and I originally invested, we were only looking at the one aspect of the cash flow, passive income. And then just through the experience, and now we've had them a few years, we are realizing that there are so many more dimensions to owning property. So it's important, I think, that your students or your listeners understand that don't just focus on one area. Because over the long term, if you're going to own property for a while, you'll be able to take advantage of all of those benefits.
That's right. The power of long-term investing is generational wealth. But you got to show a lot of discipline, a lot of commitment.
Right.
You got to overcome all that. Your property can go wrong. You can have vacancies. You can have repair. You can have maintenance. So you need to overcome all that.
No, it's not. You're right.
But at the end of the day, let me recap. This presentation, pretty much the recap is, my takeaway is in income property, you just so many ways you can make money. You can make money with long term, short term, or mid term.
Mhm. Mhm.
Previous, but the more flexibility you have, if you can do it, you can buy duplex, triplex, and fourplex, and do test it out.
Mhm.
Test
Right.
the medium term, test the long
Mhm.
term, see how it goes. The risk is very low as
Right.
in the market in the South Texas market. Your long-term rent per unit is already $1,300. If your medium term at $2,000 to $2,500 does not work, which I find it hard to believe, it should work because South Texas is such a new emerging market, and getting
Mhm.
the medical industry, the whole infrastructure growth, you will see increasing medium-term investment model to be very successful. It's good risk. Even if you can't rent for $2,000 medium-term rent, you could find because the delta from 1,300 long-term rent in this model, in this fourplex, in this South Texas, versus 2,000 is only like a $700 spread. I bet you because the rent is so low, the purchase
Mhm.
price, the housing price in this market is so good, so below the entry level benchmark for
Mhm.
price
Mhm.
for investors. I bet you when you fully furnish this unit, if you cannot get a medium term rental in there, what if you still uh, target a long term rental who likes a fully furnished rental, long term,
Mhm.
9 months to a year,
There you go.
and still charge $2,000 to rental in this market?
So what you're saying then is that you really can't lose. There's so many different ways you can market the property. And like I said, I won't even say worst case scenario if you have to go back to a long term, but really that's best case scenario.
Exactly. Anyway, low risk, high reward. It's a great strategy. Anyway, if you receive any value whatsoever from this presentation, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also, better yet, submit your email at the bottom of the description, and also comment below as well. What are your thoughts about it? So you can
Right.
become a member of our investment network so you can learn in a community with thousands of members or just like you to learn and invest. To
Mhm.
listen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.